Looking for something for the national park lover in your life? Maybe that national park lover is you.
Then be sure to check out the Gaze Shop, the official home of all Gaze at the National Parks merchandise featuring original designs inspired by the sights, monuments, and majesty of the national parks. Right now, we have designs featuring images from Glacier, Grand Teton, Yellowstone, Bryce Canyon, Joshua Tree, and more.
New this month is the New River Gorge collection. Check out 3 new prints and the New River Gorge sticker and celebrate the rugged beauty of the Mountain State's incredible national park.
See all of our collections by visiting shop.gazeatthenationalparks.com to bring some of the national parks home with you.
Have a sense of adventure and looking to explore? Want to head to a national park, explore a city, or hike trails of a region in North America? Look no further than Moon Travel for all your ethical trip planning needs.
With guidebooks and coverage of all 63 national parks and other outdoor adventures in every U.S. region, you can count on Moon's local expertise, unique recommendations, and strategic advice to help you plan an unforgettable trip.
Moon Travel books allow you to both broadly explore a region, park, or city and hone in on specific hotspots, must-dos, and exciting excursions for any type of traveler.
Their guidance allows for realistic trip planning on any sort of budget, giving you more time to explore and less time to stress about planning. Whether you are taking a short road trip, exploring a new city, heading to a national park, or spending a week in the wilderness, make sure to pack a Moon Travel Guide with you.
For a limited time, our listeners can get 20% off their order of Moon USA National Parks book by author Becky Lomax by using code GAZE when you shop through Hachette Book Group using the link in our show notes.
That's code GAZE, G-A-Z-E, for 20% off your copy of Moon USA National Parks. Head to our show notes to check it out and see Moon's entire collection of national parks guides.
For more information and to purchase a Moon Travel Guide, be sure to visit moon.com.
We've made it.
We've made it.
We've
fulfilled our contractual and obligations, and this is the end, everybody.
This is not the end.
This is the end.
No. This is, this is the end. I was thinking that The Last of Us. That's another show.
This is The Last of Us. This is us. This is The Good Place. This is whatever you want it to be.
Mm-hmm. Wait. No, this is the bad place.
This is the bad place.
This is the bad place.
I mean, we are living in the bad place perpetually in life.
But we have hit a very important day today.
A milestone of sorts.
That it is our 100th episode.
100 episodes of comedy.
100 episodes of drag queens. 100 episodes of games. 100 episodes of trails.
That's true.
And plants and birds.
And birds and shirtless men.
That we see on the trail and that we sort of go like, oh, I wonder if he'll talk to us.
Yeah.
Right? All of the things.
Yeah, all of those things. To be fair, this is our 100th full-length main stage trail-based episode.
That's
we
right.
are way over 100
way
episodes.
Over. We're actually at like 224 or something like that.
But it is in a show that is trail-based, was originally trail-focused. It's a big deal. I mean, 5 seasons, 100 episodes. We are pretty much at the tail end of our 5th season, too, as this episode launches. So it is kind of like, I don't know. I never thought this would be what this would be.
I didn't either.
Yeah.
I mean, I had hoped that it would grow into something that we were very proud of.
Yeah.
And I feel like it has.
Yeah.
I'm really proud of the fact that, like, I don't know, it took us 15 minutes to come up with what the format was going to be.
Yeah.
And, like, then put some ideas down and then just
roll.
Go for it.
Yeah.
And, like, the format has remained the same.
Essentially, yes.
I mean, since
Inception.
episode 1, the general format's the same, but we have found all the ways to grow and expand. And also all of the beautiful places the show has taken us and the beautiful, wonderful people we've been able to meet and the relationships we've been able to build and form and, like, you know, the chosen family it has brought to us.
It's
like,
true.
It really is very, very special.
It is.
And I'm very excited about it.
It's like a thing that has occupied a large space of both of our lives for 5 years. And it's only helped, I feel like, the both of us to grow in our own ways separately and together. As friends, as collaborators, it is, it sort of has taken a life of its own and just truly evolved in a way that I just really could never have dreamed of when we sat down that August morn.
That one August morn.
That's right.
In the cloudy Acadia morning. You're definitely right. The show has grown their own leg.
Yeah.
And runs all by itself. And
that's not entirely true.
But you know what I mean? Like, yeah. I do feel like we are now the staff members of this thing that exists all like on its own. So yeah, that's been an exciting thing.
Yeah,
and like
absolutely.
to get that into flow for like, the workflow and stuff, get that in.
Yeah.
I feel like now it's, the work to produce the show has folded in and is in flow in my life in a way that like feels really good. And while yes, it takes a ton of work to produce the show, a ton of work. Yeah. It's work that is exciting to do.
Yeah, well-loved work.
Yeah.
And it's, it's also given us so many opportunities to just like expand our horizons for what we, I think, thought creatively the two of us were going to do together. And also it's moved the ball, down the court in a lot of ways, just in inspiring work for the both of us too. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. It's been a great time. And now we get to celebrate our 100th episode,
right,
which we've entitled
100 Trails.
Looking for adventure, I want to follow on the trail, or get a little lost and let the wind fill my sails. Get up when the stars still fill the sky, don't wake the sun, there's so much to be done, and the day has just begun. Go where the postcards are real, you can feel, you can open your eyes and open your heart when you gaze at the national park.
Follow you there.
At the national park. At the national park. Follow you, I'll follow you there.
We would like to acknowledge that while traveling and hiking in the land, also known as America, that we have visited, explored, and been privileged to enjoy land that was once occupied, cared for, and managed in partnership with the earth by countless indigenous tribes and peoples. Welcome to Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast that brings you one hiking trail in one national park, one park at a time. I'm Mike.
And I'm Dusty. If you're joining us for the first time, then you have picked a very special episode to join us for. This episode marks the 100th full-length episode of our show.
While we've long passed episode 100 in the total amount of episodes that we've produced, as of now, we're inching closer and closer to our 300th episode in total. This 100th episode is symbolic as our show truly started as a way for us to engage with and share our experiences on the trails of America's national parks.
As the show grew in our first season, we began to piece together the other components of the show as situations arose and the time was right. The episodes between our full-length episodes became our trail mix episodes. These episodes allowed us to dive deeper into topics that we didn't get to cover in our full-length episodes, mostly topics of the environment, history, indigenous rights, and aspects related to the hiking and camping in the national parks.
Our summit episodes developed as a way for us to close our seasons in a succinct sort of way, allowing us to investigate all of the parks from each season all at once in episodes that relate to the environment, history, hiking trails, and visitor experience.
And our Pride Mix episodes have allowed us to lean into the queer tilt of our show and explore topics of queerness and how it relates to the national parks, as well as how policy has impacted the LGBTQ plus community.
But since we've hit this milestone episode, here as we draw close to the end of our 5th season, we wanted to take the time to really think about our experiences on the trails in a way that could sort of look at all the trails we've set our boots on, or at least set our boots on in the many episodes that we've produced.
That's right. And there is certainly a backlog of episodes and trails yet to come that we haven't even touched yet and are raring to go for season 6, 7, and beyond. But for now, let's take a look at what we have done so far and have a little fun with it.
This episode is sort of like the superlative page in your high school yearbook, forever reminding you of the biggest flirts, class clowns, future leaders of tomorrow, and undoubtedly the most athletic.
Join us as we're headed back on this journey
to the past.
Almost. Great.
No.
Let's try it again. Join us now as we're headed back. Starting now, I'm learning fast on this journey to the past. All right, so let's get started. We've entitled this episode 100 Trails, but we've actually done more than 100 trails.
Absolutely.
Certainly. I know we said that. But also, sometimes our episodes contain more than one trail.
Truth snaps, sister.
Also, sometimes our episodes, we have a few instances where they contain, it's like multiple episodes over one trail.
This is also true.
So it might shake out, but I think
we're over 100.
We're way over 100.
Yeah.
So yes, superlatives. Okay, let's do this. Let's start with this one. Are you ready? Okay.
Great.
So we've come up with these 5 superlatives to do together.
Yep.
And we're both going to have answers to it.
Yes.
And then it'll change after the break. Okay, so let's start with this. What is a trail that you are dying to do again?
You know what my answer is.
I know what your answer is. Wait, can I see if I can guess? I mean, I know what it is.
Yeah.
It's Devil's Garden.
Yeah, girl. Yeah, I'm on it in a minute.
And why? Tell us why.
There is just something very magical about that trail, and it's fun. That was the thing. It's like, I love hiking and I love being outside in nature, but the element of fun that came with this trail was just so... It was like, it fed that part of my brain when we were doing more indoor rock climbing that was like, ooh, yeah, like, ooh, I have to figure this out before I actually do this thing. And like how I move my foot here is going to determine where I move my hand next. Like there was that sort of like brain power that needed to happen. Whereas I feel like in hiking, a lot of the times you can kind of get very zen and just be focused in on the trail and like what's happening around you without that sort of like kind of puzzle solving skill, you know?
Right.
Like trails are for the most part very straightforward, I feel like.
I found that trail to be really fun because cairns mark the way on the trail. So there's not blazes or anything like that. And so there were so many times where we'd get to one part and we're like, where do we go next?
Yeah.
And we would have to look and then we'd spot the cairn and then we would have to figure out the best way to get to that cairn.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes that meant going over giant things and around giant things and up little shimmy our way up here. It was really fun.
Yeah. I bet you I could guess yours too.
Okay, great. What do you think mine is?
It's Sliding Sands.
That's right.
In Haleakala.
National Park.
Yeah.
I think my favorite trail it's a trail, I wouldn't say it's definitely among my favorites, but it is the trail at the top of my dying to do again list.
Yeah.
Because I love a trail that feels like in one journey that you get like 7 to 10 different journeys, and this is such a great example of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like my love for epic storytelling. Like I feel like that's what I got from Sliding Sands.
Oh, it feels very mythological. Like it feels like this is a saga. Like this is the saga of the Sliding Sands Trail. Like you could build a story around that for sure.
Without a doubt. That makes me think like I think a really fun sort of trip for like a literature class or an English class would be to do a hiking trail and then to write like an original, like, you know, piece of fiction story inspired by the parts of this trail.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that be fun?
Yeah.
What a great prompt.
That'd be a really good prompt.
I like it. Now I want to do that for Sliding Sands.
There you go.
Okay, great. All right, let's do the next one, which is...
So what about this one? A trail that you never, ever need to set foot on ever again.
Oh, I'd say there are a few.
Mm-hmm.
There are definitely a few.
Mm-hmm. I have one from a trip that we've just did that we haven't talked about yet, but
which
one? Pinnacles Trail.
The Pinnacles Trail in Big Bend.
Yeah. You'll never, ever, never come back again. Goodbye, girl. Yeah.
No.
That's definitely one that's just like, it was just difficult. And at the end of, like, either way you cut it, you either do it at the beginning of this loop or the end. I'm sorry, the beginning would probably be great just to be done with it. But like, as we saw some people on the trail that had been camping on this South Rim Loop trail that we did, they were like, fuck the Pinnacles Trail. Like, we don't need that. So, and I think you feel the same way about that.
I totally agree.
Yeah.
I was going to say a trail that I'm good to not do again would probably be like maybe off the boardwalks in Congaree.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt like I mean, obviously we had a very specific experience there.
Yeah.
And I'm sure if we were there not during spider season.
Sure.
And if there were something to like really see back there, that might be really interesting to do. But
yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think that's not definitely one not on my list. If I had to think of something in the trails that we've covered so far that I really wouldn't need to kind of head back to, it's so hard. Like, it's hard to figure that out. Like, I think
because I mean, I love trails. Yeah. And I'm down to do them again all the time.
The anger for Pinnacles was just, I think, the exhaustion too.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling to figure out another one that would be equatable in my loathing.
Then let's move on to the next category.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. What about trail with the best payoff view where we had to like really work to get it? At the payoff view made the work worth it.
So, I mean, I will consistently say this, that Vernal and Nevada Falls has the better view than Yosemite Falls.
Yes, in Yosemite National Park.
I do feel like the grunt work, the payoff at the top of Yosemite is great. And if you do the little extra, which you didn't do because of heights, and I understand that, where you kind of like go down the rock wall and you're like at the crest of the waterfall.
Absolutely not.
That was really cool. So that's a trail that's real hard, and it's one where you had a grunt to get to that. Mm-hmm. And the view it's pretty good up there, but I still think the Vernal and Nevada, I didn't think there was as much grunt up there. That's what I'm saying. Vernal and Nevada was still really cool. So it's hard for me to like, it's like, I think that's kind of the answer, is both of them in some ways. Those would be my answers, because you get up to the top of the ridge, like it's, for lack of a better term, you're up at the top of the canyon. It's not a canyon. Well, there is a valley. I'm just babbling. Just cut all that out. You get to the top of the falls on both of these. It's just like another world, and like seeing the valley of Yosemite and like knowing how high you've climbed, like there's just something very magical about that. And the tough work, because you are climbing straight up, it gives you such perspective for everything, not only the scale of the park, the scale of your climbing, but just like what sometimes you have to overcome to reach a point of beauty.
Okay, so best payoff view for me. Mm-hmm. I didn't feel like this trail was necessarily that hard to do. Mm-hmm. But it does take a bit of like intentional driving to get to like this camp area where you have to start. And that was the top of Mount Cameron in Great Smokies in the fall. That was one of the best views I have ever seen in my entire life.
That was a tough hike too, because it was rainy. It was kind of a miserable day.
And we were the only, we saw two other people at the top
who were on the AT.
They were on the AT. That's right. But yeah, nobody else. We had the whole trail to ourselves.
It was ghostly. It was haunting.
Very haunted. It was fun. Mm-hmm. I loved it. Mm-hmm. And it was definitely spooky.
Yeah.
The whole time. Spooky lighting the whole time. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Highly recommend it.
Yeah. Okay. So what about the most surprising trail for you? Like, and you can take and interpret that in whatever way you think. What was the most surprising trail for you? And I can go because I have mine.
Go for it. What you got?
I think this is hard. It's more of like the park in general was the giant surprise, but I think God, it's so hard to pick one of them because they're all so surprising. But I think the Frying Pan Trail in Capitol Reef, the Frying Pan, like, is you kind of start it and then you kind of come to it from Cassidy Arch. Like, you have to go to Cassidy Arch first, then you loop back and you can get on the Frying Pan. And it just kind of winds you through these very interesting formations. The views are incredible. Like, I mean, I say the whole park because the whole park is just kind of magnificently beautiful and unbelievable.
I feel like all of the things that you particularly and I too both love about the Devil's Garden Trail and Arches is sort of like, it's like that, but in an entire park.
Yeah.
It's like that the whole time.
Yeah, because Chimney Rock was also very surprising.
Very surprising.
And you got some really great views. Like, when you got to the top of that was, there were some really beautiful things happening there. Yeah.
You know which one I'm going to choose?
Okay. What?
Is the Petroglyph Trail in Mesa Verde.
Oh, yeah. That was a very surprising trail.
I loved this trail. Mesa Verde certainly does have trails, though the reason for Mesa Verde's preservation isn't necessarily for the trails that are there, or it's about sort of the history and the cultural preservation.
Yeah.
But there is a trail where it will bring you very close to petroglyphs.
Yes, very close.
But that trail was so wonderful because it was sort of rainforesty in its own way.
Sure, sort of. I mean,
it was green in its own way. And then it was like along the side of a mesa that was like up and down, and then we got to those petroglyphs, and then we went up to the top of the mesa, and then we like walked all the way back.
Yeah.
And that was...
And you could see Spruce House at the end.
And we could see Spruce House at the end.
Right.
Yeah. Well, at the beginning and the end, right?
You could... Yeah, we were able to walk like up to it, but I think the surprise was looping around and seeing it from high.
Oh,
like we were at a much lower vantage point when we first started.
There were a lot of surprises on Petroglyph Trail in Mesa Verde. Highly recommend.
Yeah.
Okay, great. All right. Now, this is not a single one.
Okay.
This is, you're going to have to pick a top 3.
Okay.
Top 3 most difficult trails.
Oh, okay.
All right. I've got my top 3 with a couple honorable mentions.
Okay. Go for it.
Do you have yours?
I want you to
one
come
more
up with yours. I need one more. I'm just trying to go by region and trying to think about parks that we've done. Oh, okay. I've got my 3.
Okay. Top of my list, Yosemite Falls.
Yeah, me too.
It's so funny because we had done, Yosemite Falls is episode 1.
Yeah.
Right? However, that wasn't the first hike we did or the first national parks trip that we did.
No.
But it was very early on.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. I find that we still haven't found a trail that kicked us to the ground the same way that Yosemite Falls has. But that is at the top, the very number 1 for me.
It's for me as well. It definitely, I mean, that was also my screwed up planning too, because we had intended to start with Vernal, Nevada. And I was like, oh no, we have to go to this stop. And then we got off the bus and you were like, no, this is not the stop. That wasn't your level of drama.
No, I was not that level of drama.
But
no, I believe we had a little tiny petty argument in the
a Tom Petty argument.
A Tom Petty argument in the what was that? The not the ferry, the bus,
the tram,
and we had decided we were going to head to Vernal in Nevada, and then we were on our way, and you were like, we have to go to this stop, and I was like, no, I'm pretty sure that Vernal, Nevada is over here, and you were like, no, it's not. It's here. And I was like, well, I remember Mel Gibson accurately, and he didn't say that. The Polonius guy did. And I was like, all right, I'm going to let her live in her fantasy, and we're going to get off, and she'll realize. And then you got off, and you were like, oh, but Vernal and Nevada Falls isn't here. And I went, I know. Yosemite Falls is here. Are we ready to do this hike right now? I guess so. And then we just did it.
And then we had to.
It's true.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely the grunt work was just the intensity of that was rough.
A very rough
Very great payoff. Like good payoff at the top.
Good payoff at the top. There was
not
good
as great as
payoff at the top. Yeah. There was comparatively better payoff elsewhere.
Better payoff, yeah. So my number 2. So here's the thing. I definitely agree with you. There's nothing that's kicked my butt as hard as that. The rest of these ones are more just from a strenuous factor. Like they definitely, like if they're not labeled strenuous, they should be. And it is not a trail at all, but it is a wilderness route. And that is the Tamichi route, is my number 2. And
the Tamichi route is also my number 2.
Well, look at that. Sisters doing it for themselves. We must know each other or something.
I know.
Maybe we travel together.
Maybe we produce a show.
So Tamichi route activated that like Devil's Garden part of my brain. And I had a blast on it. I really was like, I'm alive. Like, and you were like, oh, there he is down the trail. Like away from me, like living his life over there.
And it's not even really a trail. It's sort of like a
scramble.
A scramble.
Yeah, scramble.
Full of rocks.
Yeah. And it was just so much fun. And getting to the river was really great. The Gunnison River. It's beautiful down there. It is serene. And then the climb up was less difficult in some ways than I thought it would be. It was the confusion factor at the very end, which we were only confused because somebody else that was on the trail was confused.
Yeah.
We were going in the right
all
direction.
about that in Tamichi Route Part 1 and 2 when in our Black Canyon of the Gunnison episodes. But it was that was a toughie because that was one that required a permit, and they said if you require rescue, you'll have to be able to survive for 24 hours at least. It was we definitely did the long distance running trick of like, we're just going to get to there now, and then we're going to breathe, and then now we're going to get to there on our way back up, because that was a very tough, like hands and feet kind of get yourself back up kind of route.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Number 3 for me is the Grinnell Glacier overlook off of Highline.
Oh, I didn't even think about that. I like
that. Was a monster. Like that was like take me in my dreams out of joy and like throw me into the pits of pain. That was how hard that was for me, because that incline was so steep, and it says it's 0.8 miles, but it does not feel like that.
It feels like an endless staircase.
It feels like it, like if I were to create like
hell
for myself, it would be that. It would be that in exposed sunlight and just never ending, and like always looking like I'm getting close, but then it just always gets further away. That's the top 3 for me. What about for you?
Well, we're in the same neck of the woods over there. I didn't even think about that one. That's a toughie. I'm thinking about Amphitheater Lake, the 18 switchbacks.
Oh yeah, that was one of my honorable mentions.
She was not kind.
No,
she was not gracious.
This is in Grand Tetons.
She was mean.
She was mean. That was a mean trail.
Yeah.
That was a mean trail.
That was just the switchback length between the switchbacks, especially in the beginning, was like felt like miles.
Long.
It felt like the Grinnell Glacier, like length. Oh, this is only a 0.8 mile between, and it was just the grade of the incline, and then you got to the top, and it was just craggy and rocky. It was beautiful up there. Amphitheater Lake was great. Don't get me wrong. And Surprise Lake, there was a Surprise Lake up there, also great, but that was a grunt work. That was like my feet hurt after that. And we were like, we're going to do these other connector trails at the end. And I just remember getting back and sitting on the bridge that like was dry. The river was dry below us. And like, you were like, I just need a peanut butter sandwich. And we just sat and we're like, so we're going to make it back to the car as quickly as we can. That
was a tough day.
Yeah.
And like we were talking about Big Bend trails in Texas. We just got back from Big Bend, and we did probably one of the best hikes we've ever done. It was the South Rim Trail,
which you'll hear all about sometime.
Which is where you'll hear all about that at some point. But the Pinnacles is a trail that is a section of a loop that one can do to get to the South Rim. And we came down the Pinnacles, but we went up this other other way called the
Laguna Meadow
Trail.
Just and a vault of memories over here, everybody.
Because you are
the memory
Memory Keeper's Daughter.
Memory Keeper's Daughter.
The Memory Keeper's Daughter, definitely. The Laguna Meadow Trail had plenty of switchbacks, but they were lovely.
Yeah.
And they were fun.
Yeah.
And they weren't wild and hard.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
That section. Okay, great. So
with that,
let's take our first break. You know what that means. That's the sound of another sale on Shopify and the moment another business dream becomes a reality.
Shopify is the commerce platform revolutionizing millions of businesses worldwide. Whether you're selling handmade tote bags, stickers, or prints inspired by the national parks, Shopify simplifies selling online and in person so you can focus on successfully growing your business.
Shopify covers every sales channel, from an in-person POS system to an all-in-one e-commerce platform. It even lets you sell across social media marketplaces like TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Packed with industry-leading tools ready to ignite your growth, Shopify gives you complete control over your business and your brand without having to learn any new skills in design or code.
We know what it's like to open an online shop, and it's very involved. And Shopify is streamlining this process for business owners. What's incredible to me about Shopify is how, no matter how big you want to grow, Shopify is there to empower you with the confidence and control to revolutionize your business.
Now it's your turn to get serious about selling and try Shopify today. Sign up for a $1 per month trial period at shopify.com/gaze. And that's all lowercase. Go to shopify.com/gaze. And that's GAZE to take your business to the next level.
Possibility, powered by Shopify. Called another opening, another show.
Okay, we're playing the vault.
Oh, great.
All right.
We haven't played this in a while.
All right. So in the interest of keeping up with our superlatives, which we're doing this whole episode, everybody. All right. So 3 views. 3 views from trails on national parks that you can put in the vault. All the rest of the views are getting destroyed by climate change forever and always.
Probably.
What 3 views are you going to put in the vault forever?
So the views for me would be the top of the Grinnell Glacier overlook, looking out onto the glaciers and the lakes that you could see. Like you saw those 4 lakes in the distance. You were able to see it, and then Sam and I hiked a little higher. We got like a better vantage. So that one for sure.
I was done that day.
You were completely done.
I was toast.
That view for sure. The top of Angel's Landing, like seeing all of the valley of Zion and knowing what we had just done, that was like wild and completely incredible. The next one is kind of like I feel like is a strange one in that it's not a distance view, but it's a scale view, and it's Round Meadow in Sequoia. And seeing those trees and being able to walk among them, and there's something was so incredible about that. You were able to see a lot from any vantage in the meadow, but like no matter where you were also under these giant sequoias, and it was just beautiful. So those are my 3. What about you?
Okay, so 1 I've already mentioned, and that is the view of the Smoky Mountains at the top of Mount Cameron. That's the view I'll never forget my whole life. And we sat there, like the rain stopped, but it was just like... We sat in the tower
too.
That was incredible. The next one for me that I'm putting in there is when the clouds parted on the Sliding Sands Trail in Haleakala, and we saw all that green, vast valley.
I think you might have a painting of that.
I was just about to mention that.
I wonder if there's, a sexy artist that might have painted it for you.
I think I might be looking at him.
Very single.
Ladies.
I almost said ladies. I'm like, gentlemen. Yeah.
So yeah, then that will really throw people off scent for the title of the show. Now I see that view every day. What my intention was to blow that view up on a canvas and like hang that on the wall in my bedroom. But then this very sexy artist that I know that I'm currently looking at, he
Sting
decided, he said, nope, don't do that. I want to paint that for you. And did.
Birthdays.
I do have to say, honorable mention view.
You didn't get to 3.
I know.
Oh.
But I'm going to mention this one now.
Okay.
Is the other painting that is a part of that
Sweet.
There are 2 paintings that are together and they look at each other. And then the other one is from...
It's from Capitol Reef.
Capitol Reef, but it's, what is it called? What rock?
Chimney Rock.
Chimney Rock. There it is. From Chimney Rock off over to the left. And it just all of the colors during sunset. But both of them slope down toward each other.
Yeah.
And they face each other. So
they do.
That's why they are together. But my third view that I'm going to put in there was a view we only got to see for a few minutes.
Okay.
And that was when we went and drove the road to take a look at the view into Kings Canyon.
Oh, yeah.
When we were in Kings Canyon in Sequoia, that was a magnificent view.
I can't even remember what that part of the park is called or considered, but
it was unreal. They were like, go out there and take a look at that view.
That was also a day we were just tired.
Well, that's most days for us.
Yeah.
Generally, but especially on trails.
Yeah.
Yep.
And that's the vault.
Now, we have each written 5 superlatives that we've not shared with each other. And so for this section of the episode, Mike, you've got your superlatives.
I do.
Go for it.
Okay, great. So the park that you feel is most doable in a day. It's not trail related, but it does include trails. So the park you feel like is digestible enough in a day that you could do and feel like, okay, I'm ready to go. I've experienced what I need to.
From the ones we've produced episodes on, Badlands is my answer.
Okay.
Badlands, I think, is the best one. You can do trails. You can go learn about fossils. You can drive a loop road. I feel like those are like the top 3 sort of often ways people like to access parks. Like sometimes it's just you want to go in and drive a loop road. Sometimes it's I want to go in and just learn in a visitor center and maybe look around, or I want to get on a trail. You can do all 3 of those things all inside of one day. At Badlands.
Yeah. I would say Congaree is probably... Congaree you can hike... You'd be able to, even hiking through spiders all the way out to that viewpoint at the trail that we never finished. I think you could do all of Congaree plus probably get on the river and kayak and do it all in a day.
Yeah.
And bounce and get your viewings experience worth from Congaree.
Totally.
Sure. Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah. For my second superlative, parks that have so much more to reveal than you expected.
Oh, well, I mean, I would say Big Bend, though we haven't produced any Big Bend episodes yet, but Big Bend certainly. I'm going to say for this one, Catoctin Mountain.
Oh, okay.
Catoctin Mountain is not a national park, but it is a national recreation area.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's
in the National Park Service. It's one of the 400.
We did do episodes about this space because it's near Camp David.
And also it's pretty close to Gettysburg National Military Park.
I thought there was like quite a bit of like surprising views around like this was a really lovely place to hike trails. So like I really enjoyed that. It had a lot to reveal. I'm going to say that. And then I have a second answer. And Channel Islands.
Oh, I knew that was what you were going to say.
Channel Islands.
I know.
There was so much to reveal there.
Yeah.
What a beautiful place to hike. Yes. Idyllic in every sense of the word. What about for you?
Mine are both Utah parks, so if we're going to go with 2. I mean, my first is absolutely Capitol Reef, because everybody told us, you don't need to do Capitol Reef. Every guidebook we read, don't do Capitol Reef. If you have to cut out a park in Utah, make it Capitol Reef. And I'm pretty sure that like people have paid off people who are guidebook writers to not talk about Capitol Reef, because
they did tell us, somebody did tell us, they were like, oh, we say that so that we can keep it for ourselves.
It's just great. And sorry that I'm the secret's out.
So great. Go there.
It's just it's very different from the 4 other Utah parks, and there's a lot to love there. There's a lot to explore. There's some things that's a park I would absolutely go back to in a heartbeat. Just like Channel Islands is a park that like I don't feel like we had enough time. We really didn't. We had a mere set of hours. I really
want to take the boat to the one spot and hike all the way, the long way, and all the way back to the other boat spot.
Yeah, we had merely hours in both of those parks, which was a dang shame. But It's what it is. My other answer is Bryce Canyon, because that was just, there was so much there that I did not expect. I expected hoodoos. I expected whatever. This was our first national park trip. It was the second park we went to. And I think after seeing Zion, I was like, how do you top this? And then Bryce didn't necessarily top it, but it really ran a tough competition with Zion. So that would be my second, because especially the Peekaboo Trail, good God, just every turn was magical. So there's something, Utah, who knew, honestly?
Who knew, indeed.
One of our first catchphrases, I feel like, Utah, who knew? Because I certainly didn't. And I, all five of those parks hold a very special place in my heart. But those are the two that I feel like are the revealers of everything.
Certainly.
Okay. So I guess I wrote all my superlatives were more park-based. But
that's great. That's great.
It's great. Okay. Park where water was one of the most important features or components, where you found that water. Now, we've never been on the water in a park. We've been in the water in a park, or at least touched the water in a park, but we've never truly experienced rafting. But where you felt like that was something that was so important to the landscape.
I'm going to say New River Gorge, because, obviously it created what is the gorge, but I feel like that entire park is around the New River. So that was, I think that's my answer. And okay. I loved being able to see the river from all those different areas, and Sandstone Falls was so cool. And then, being able to see the river from above on the bridge walk, which was at the end of the day worth it, even though parts of it were uncomfortable for those of us with a fear of heights, but we made it. And obviously there's rafting to do there. Maybe not class 4 rapids with a friend who is 93, but
who was game to do it.
But she was game. But yes, so I would say New River Gorge is my answer.
Okay.
What about for you?
Obviously I feel like you could say Channel Islands, because it's an island.
Yeah.
But I'm going to say Acadia, because it being on the coast. And there's a lot about that. While there are some coastal hikes there. There's Bar Island that you have to plan your time with the tides to be able to access. There's hiking the Schoodic Peninsula, which you end up near the water. There's a lot. Having grown up on the coast my entire life in New Jersey, there was a lot of home for me there, and I felt like Acadia is very much so a park that, as a park in and of itself, is beautiful. I think remove the ocean and put it in the middle of nowhere, it would lose some of its luster. There's something magical about the water being right there in that park.
It's true.
And it really has such an impact, I think, on the landscape. And it just makes for just such a beautiful environment in total. Okay. The park with the most cinematic landscape.
Things that come to mind for me right now certainly are Yosemite, Zion, but I'm also going to say Capitol Reef too.
Yeah.
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many. It's hard.
There's so many. I'm throwing Big Bend in here too, because, ooh, girl, that was some cinematic landscapes. But yeah, do I have to choose one?
Choose one.
The most cinematic landscape?
Cut them all out.
I'm going to go with Zion.
So disappointed with that answer.
No, I'm not. But Zion is very cinematic. What about you?
This is a curveball for me, only in that when we were there it was so smoky, and we didn't get a chance to really experience it. But there's something incredibly weird and wild about Yellowstone, and I feel that landscape is it's either Yellowstone or Glacier for me.
Oh my God! Yeah. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Glacier is probably it.
Glacier. Yeah. I was having a brain fog moment and forgot to think about Glacier. Glacier. Yeah. Is my answer for cinematic
I think it's
landscape.
Probably for me too.
Most definitely.
But definitely there's something weird and recognizable and wild about Yellowstone, for sure.
For sure.
Okay, and the last one is a trail. It's the trail that most triggered or evoked your biggest fears.
Morrow Rock in Sequoia.
Yeah, that's also my answer.
Easily that. I think that was worse than Angel's Landing.
It was bad.
Well, also, I didn't know what I was getting into on Angel's Landing.
Yeah,
now I do.
You.
Yeah, you did. And then you tried to push me off.
It's true.
It's true.
Still friends.
Yeah, we worked through it. That's right.
Morrow Rock for me is also just fear. I've never had height fear, but There is something primally. There's something very scary about it on a primal level, is what I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Primally.
It's very true.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. And with that, let's take our next break. It's time for episode 100's Drag Corner.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage
Chandelier.
There we go. Chandelier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I also like Sandra Lears because it sort of sounds like Chandelier, but it's Sandra is like ogling.
It's true. There's a little bit of that.
I think it's Chandra Lear and Sandra Lear.
I don't know about that.
They're sisters and they ogle you. That's the whole act. They're just oglers.
I see. They're like, because they're leering.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh, I get it. Okay. So Chandelier.
Mm-hmm.
Who is Chandelier?
Well, she's an ogling queen.
I think so, right.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe she has like an eyeball motif throughout her looks or something like that.
Okay, she's an optometrist then.
Maybe she has an optometrist number.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of.
I can see clearly now the rain
Maybe
has
she has
gone.
a number to that song, right?
I can see all obstacles in my way.
I think she has to do some sort of reference to Chandelier by Sia, but I feel like it should be like with eyes.
Also Watching You by
yes.
It always feels like somebody's watching me.
Yeah, that's
who's
a good
playing
one.
tricks on me.
I like that.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
Mm-hmm. In Private Eyes. Man,
she's got a whole thing.
They're watching you. They see your every move.
Yes. I think and I like that it's like very sort of late 80s music.
Mm-hmm.
That's her era.
Yeah.
I like that.
So she dresses like Cyndi Lauper too.
Oh, yes. Exactly.
With a big wig that covers her head so that you can't see her, just like Sia.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I like that. I feel like she's got it's like a wig that covers her face the same way as Sia, as you said, but it's like 80s big hair, right?
Yeah, teased for the gods.
Oh yeah, and like definitely sprayed beyond an inch.
I also
of its
feel
life.
like her merch is in honor of Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's just googly eyes.
Oh, I like that. Can it be like googly eye coin purses?
Sure.
Do people still carry coin purses?
I don't know, but maybe we bring it back.
Why not?
Maybe she does.
You can utilize the coin purse for many things. So many things. Great. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage
Chandra.
No.
Chandelier. And now it's your turn, dearest.
I have 6.
Oh, somebody came to work today.
I did. Okay. Trail with the best lighting change, specifically for photos. Like, as in when you're hiking up it, it looks one way within the light. And then when you're hiking back, like all of it looks different because the light is different now.
I'm going to say because we saw it twice, because we've hiked it twice at 2 different times of year and 2 different times of day. Long Point Trail and New River Gorge.
Yeah, that's a beautiful example of that. I am going to say probably Angel's Landing.
That's
like being
what
able
my
to
original
see,
choice was, but
all of Zion Canyon, like just from the 2 different like points in time in the light. Like we highly recommend doing that as early as possible.
Yeah.
Also because the light is so cool that early.
Also lottery system. So, you know.
I know. You have to do lottery for the chains, right?
Yeah. You can go up to Scouts Lookout.
Yeah.
Sands.
Which is what I say everybody can do and get the same view. The same view, everybody, from there that you can get at the top. Mike, what doesn't agree with me? But that's okay.
Yeah. Well,
we don't have to agree on everything.
No, we don't. So what next year?
I hear you. Okay. Most satisfying flat trail.
Flat trail.
Or mostly flat trail.
That one I really need to think about. That's a tricky one because we don't often think about flat when we hike. I mean, it's mostly flat, but it's not entirely flat. There is a little bit of a dip that you have to do, and it's Blue Mesa in Painted Desert and Petrified Forest.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's just, you get that view from the top where you're able to see kind of down into the like area and then beyond it. And then when you're down there, it's very, very cool. And there's petrified wood down there. And I thought that was really neat. That was somewhat flat when you were down inside of the area of the hike.
That's
and it's
right.
like it's a paved pathway.
Yeah.
So yeah. What about you?
I think I'd probably say the rim trail at the Grand Canyon.
Okay.
Notice how many times we've mentioned the Grand Canyon in this episode, everybody.
Yeah.
Well, we do need to go back and do like the North Rim.
And hike down into it.
But, yeah.
I mean, I'm going to say a very unpopular opinion probably, and I don't really care. I mean, there are better parks than the Grand Canyon. Record screech. Like, seriously, it is amazing. It is beautiful. I'm sure the North Rim is great.
She looks like a model. She looks like Linda Evangelista.
I find that the Grand Canyon is held as this gold standard, and I don't know that it all that glitters is actually gold, my friends, is what I will say. And I'm sure there'll be some coming for me in the comments, but
it's fine.
That's how I feel.
We understand.
That's how I feel.
Well, we also, I remember we put the Grand Canyon at the end of a trip of a lot of really cool stuff. Trip. We went to Zion, then Bryce, then Arches, then Canyonlands, then Painted Desert and Petrified Forest.
Which was a surprise add-on.
And then Grand Canyon, and we were like, we did that on purpose so that we were like, let's see the greatest thing at the end. And then we were like, I don't know that we like this as much as, obviously, like, here's the thing. This is our opinion. We don't want to take the magical, wonderful, our feelings on it. Just does not take away the magical, wonderful feeling you get from going to the Grand Canyon, certainly, and what you've seen in your experience there. We do have limited experience there.
Right.
So
we did spend a whole day, but we need
to go back and go to some other spots and try and get inside. And I think it would be fun to try and hike. Well, rim to rim would be fun, but I don't know if we're going to be able to do that.
And then we would just be exhausted. Exhaustion.
Okay. Trail with the best turn the corner surprise.
I mean, immediately it's Bryce Canyon that comes to mind for me, but I'd like to try to dig deeper. And find something. I think it's probably the High Line. I think the High Line, there were every time you turned around something.
This is in Glacier National Park?
Yes. It was just, the views just kept getting more and more incredible. Absolutely stunning. Even that grunt up to the top of the High Line, the, Grinnell Overlook.
Yeah, we were warned. We did it, though. So my answer, obviously, go to Bryce Canyon because it's all just turn the corner surprises, right? My answer to this is the Grinnell Glacier Trail.
Okay.
From Mini Glacier.
Okay.
Because when we got up to the top and turned the corner and could actually see Grinnell Glacier, that view, seeing Grinnell Glacier on those peaks with that Glacier Lake and then Grinnell Lake and then the forest over to the left and the peak in the front, that was such a stunning surprise. And so that's a view I'll never forget my whole life. Okay, trail with the best snacking spot. And what trail snack are you going to have?
That's a great question. Okay, my favorite trail with the best snacking spot is Old Rag, and it's the top of Old Rag.
Oh.
Because you could kind of lean against the rock. This is in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. Old Rag is a wonderful trail, also now on a ticketed reservation system. I feel like we sort of, in a lot of our park travel to a lot of the parks that we've been to that we've talked about, we sort of hit a very sweet spot in national park traveling before a lot of permitting started to happen. So I'm very grateful for that.
Agreed.
And that we also I can't recall a park that we were in where we felt like, oh my God, it's so crowded. This is awful. But now I know that has become more commonplace because the parks have garnered a lot more attention, especially during COVID. So we hiked Old Rag months before COVID was it was November of 2019.
November 2019. Yeah, that's it.
So I think that, and being able to see into the distance from the top of Old Rag after that hike, that was on my list of tough hikes. I was originally going to put that in. That's an honorable mention for me. But I think the snack that I'm having is some peanut butter pretzels. None for you, though.
Okay.
And beef jerky.
Great.
And a beer. Why not?
Why not? Trail beers.
Not that we should be carrying trail beers into parks, but I'm sure people do it.
Yeah.
Pack it out, girls.
Pack it out.
Mm-hmm. What about you?
I think my favorite snacking spot is the spot where we stopped for lunch on Saigi Pass in Glacier with Cynthia and with Becky because it was 3 magnificent views from one spot.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously having honey barbecue Fritos.
You sure are.
Absolutely. Right.
Not a sponsor.
Not a sponsor.
They could be.
Chase them with a few EL fudge cookies.
Oh.
I'm getting, I'm being a bad girl. And so that is, so that is what, that's my favorite spot because you get the view that you came from that is just stunning. The view off over and you can see like 2 Medicine and then like the view out over
St. Mary Lake.
And then you can see Sexton Glacier over to the right. I mean, it's just like...
There's a lot happening up there. It's a visual feast for the eyes.
Okay, great. What about top trail for wildlife?
Oh, I mean, I think my experience there is tainted by not wildlife experience in a trail, but in a park, and that's Theodore Roosevelt. But we didn't see many wildlife on trails there. So
it was on a loop road.
It was on the loop road.
You can say a loop road here.
I mean, holy God. Like, that is the kind of the top would be that loop road in Theodore Roosevelt National Park. Bison, horses, prairie dogs. What else did we see?
That was mostly it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but that's like, those are some big things. I mean, other than that, I'm trying to think about other...
Oh, there were birds. We saw some golden eagles.
Some birds. I mean, God, there was that terrible trail that the hike from Inspiration Point where there were bears. That will forever be the terror moment of my life.
Grand Tetons.
But I'm going to say the loop road because I feel like we got a lot of bang for our buck there as far as wildlife goes in Theodore Roosevelt National Park in North Dakota.
I'm going to say my favorite trail for wildlife is Cub Lake in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Oh, the moose.
Because we got moose and we got elk.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there was other stuff happening.
Yeah.
But that was really, really beautiful.
Yeah. That was a good snacking spot at Cub Lake, too. We sat and we snacked.
It was a good snacking spot.
We ate a lot of trail mix out there.
We did. We killed like a whole bag, like just sitting there.
Yeah, that was a long day.
Oh, I have another answer to this question.
Okay.
It's Glacier as well.
Okay.
It's the lake coming up from Trail of Cedars. What was that lake? Avalanche Lake?
Uh-huh.
Right? Isn't that the name of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Avalanche Lake with all the waterfalls around is a great snacking spot.
Oh, okay. I was like, wildlife. We didn't see any wildlife there.
Oh, I'm sorry. Going back to snacking spot. Avalanche Lake, there's a little beach there, a little cove with some sand, and that's a great spot for snacking. Okay, great. Yes. Back to wildlife. Yeah, Cub Lake is my favorite.
Okay, great. And you have one more?
I do.
Okay.
To close it out, favorite hiking day?
Oh, that's a toughie. Any day with you.
I was waiting for you to be like, that day where you had meetings and I had to go off and hike solo by
Definitely
myself.
The gas bubble day. Golf ball, gas bubble.
That was me. Yeah.
Yeah. God, what is my favorite day of hiking?
I have one, and I have some honorable mentions.
I mean, there are too many to count. Like, that we've done in the 100 episodes that we've done, and believe it or not, what is now 7 years of hiking in the national parks together. I thought about that the other day, and I was like, that's wild to me.
Yeah, wow.
We have had a lot of incredible, wildly beautiful journeys that have led to some wonderful experiences with folks. I mean, a lot of these trails have been mentioned already, and it's for a good reason. Sahi Pass, Highline, Sliding Sands. You know what? There's always a joy to hike with you, but it's such a joy to bring other people into the fold. Hiking with Brian and Tino on Big Branch. Like, I'll say it. I said it at the beginning of the episode. I will continue to say it as much as I am as much as I'm dark-sided and a curmudgeon. The human factor. Mm-hmm. The human factor is so pivotal and important and lovely.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I can't pick. I mean, it's too hard. If I had to...
Pick a few.
Well,
favorite hiking days.
The one I've mentioned then. It's, it's Sahi Pass was in Glacier National Park. Sliding Sands is in Haleakala in Hawaii. It's Big Branch Trail, which we did a ton that day. We did Sandstone, Big Branch, and then you and I did Grandview together. We had our own little private hiking time. But those three would be my top three if I had to give them, because of the people that also enriched the experience for the both of us.
I am gonna agree. I mean, my top, I think, favorite hiking day was, Sahi Pass in Glacier with Becky, Lomax, and Cynthia. Deering. And that was just one of the best days hiking. I mean, obviously, there's a reason you and I hike together all the time. Obviously, I enjoy hiking with you very much. And it's just so much fun when we can share that with other people too. Casey and Carrie along with us when we were able to, all four of us, do Sliding Sands.
East Coasters in Hawaii.
Special experience. 3 of whom were printmakers. Isn't that wild, right? I'm also going to say...
Take that, theater nerd. Theater.
Other days that come up for me. Definitely the day in Arches where we did Devil's Garden Mamas. And met the hiking mamas and then had dinner with them.
Yeah.
That was so special. Another day that I just am like, I can't believe we did this, which was we got up very, very early and we hiked Angel's Landing. Then we got off of Angel's Landing, somehow had energy. I mean, we were like, 28.
We were living in our twink era.
Right. We were in our twink eras. That's right. And it was like, we have energy. Let's just walk over to this spot and then do these trails along the way. And then we did both Emerald Pools or Emerald Falls. And then from there, we hiked to another spot, hiked all the way back to the visitor center, and then
ate dinner, and then did Watchmen.
Yeah. It was
like 17 miles.
Wild
that day.
So much hiking.
Yeah.
So it was a lot. But those come to mind. Those the ones where we get epic people, and also, oh my God, Big Branch Trail with Shay and Brian and Tino was such a special day. So special.
Yeah.
And also the High Line with Sam.
I know.
Was also very special.
I know.
Trail friends make trails better.
Memories like the corners of my mind.
And now let's
misty watered colored memories.
End this trail end this episode
the way we were.
The way we end all of our episodes with
some Jeopardy style trivia.
So funny enough, because this is episode 100 trails, I was like, so I wrote 10 questions, and then what did you tell me?
Oh, I did the same thing.
Great. So why don't you start with yours?
Great. So my Jeopardy is broken into 5 categories, 2 questions each. The categories are hike early and hike often, unsure but knowing, adventure is out there, go where the postcards are real, and gaze shop.
Great.
So gaze shop is the lightning round category.
I do think I'm going to need an unsure but knowing t-shirt.
I think it might be coming at some point.
Great.
So would you like to start there with those 2 questions?
Yeah, let's start there.
Okay. This is all about language.
Okay.
In this language snafu, you might accidentally swap the first letter of a 2-word phrase. For example, night watch might become white notch, or dark matter might become Mark Datter.
What is a spoonerism?
That's correct. Second question in this category. In this stuff of nightmare situation as a school student, you might reveal more than you intended when you call your female teacher mom or your male teacher dad. Sounds like a visit to the shrink is needed.
What is a Freudian slip?
Exactly. Beautiful.
Let's go to hike early and hike often.
Hike early and hike often for 100. This is all about epic hiking trails.
Great.
The Camino de Santiago, a trail that runs east to west in northern Spain, starting in the Pyrenees and ending at the Atlantic, is known in English as the Way of Blank, the patron saint of haymakers, rheumatoid sufferers, and laborers.
Oh, what is the Way of Saint Thomas?
No, incorrect.
Saint Blaise.
No, incorrect.
Saint
Blaise. Sounds like a bro saint to me.
No, that would be Saint Blaine.
There's the King blank version of this Bible.
James.
Yes.
The Way of Saint James.
Way of Saint James.
Oh, okay, great.
Great.
Thank you.
For 200, in the United States, the Triple Crown of trails, which are part of a network of scenic trails in the United States, include the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and this trail, which winds through Rocky Mountain National Park, Yellowstone National Park, and Glacier National Park.
What is the Continental Divide Trail?
Correct.
Let's go to Gay Shop.
Gay Shop. This is a lightning round category where I'm going to give you a description and you have to name the outerwear company.
Oh, okay.
That'll be
Great.
2 clues and then you have to name the outerwear company. It's not lightning round.
Let's go.
There are 5 here. So I did write more than 10. So.
Oh, look at you go. Here we
So,
go.
the capital of South Carolina, a South American country.
Colombia.
Furthest southern region of South America.
Patagonia.
This difficult ski slope rating, a dark-colored, incredibly tough gem.
Onyx.
Nope. What is black diamond?
Oh.
A large ground squirrel, a fought for trail mix episode.
Marmot. It's happening, y'all, in season 6. You're getting a trail mix.
The most
marmots.
unforgiving side of the mountain, the half dome, is the logo.
Oh, God. The flat side. I don't know.
What is North Face?
Right.
Okay. Left we have go where the postcards are real and adventure is out there.
Let's do postcards.
Okay. If you were looking at a postcard with the archaeological site of Petra found in this Middle Eastern nation and the arches of this national park found in Utah, you might also be looking at stills from this Indiana Jones film. So you need to give me 3 answers. So the first part, the archaeological site of Petra, what country is it found in the Middle East? What park in Utah where you'd be finding arches? And also what film of the Indiana Jones filmdom does this both appear in?
Okay, so the first one, Petra, is that in India?
No, incorrect.
I don't know.
What is Jordan?
Jordan. Then Arches National Park. And then what is Raiders of the Lost Ark?
Incorrect.
Temple of Doom.
Incorrect.
Oh, so it's the other one. It's the skull?
No.
No.
What is The Last Crusade?
No, The Last Crusade. There you go.
The skull?
The Island of the Crystal Skull. That was the one with
Kingdom.
Blanchett.
It's the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull.
I'm sorry. Whatever. Great.
That's your gay card.
There's no, that's fine. No,
your gay card
is,
excuse. It's like, I don't know.
I don't know because I have a gay card, right?
Exactly.
I think so.
All right.
Okay, great.
Also going to be a 3-part answer here for this one.
Okay.
While The Shining is based on the Stanley Hotel located in this section of Rocky Mountain National Park, the opening shots of this film are actually shot in this national park in Montana on this famous roadway.
Okay, so the first one is Estes Park. And then the second one is Glacier National Park on Going to the Sun Road.
And actually, I think I screwed that up. You were supposed to name The Shining too, but I gave it away.
The Shining.
Yeah. So yeah, interesting. I did not know that. Okay, and our last category is Adventure is Out There. This is all about adventure in film.
I'm ready.
Find the commonality in these 3 space adventure films: Lost in Space, WALL-E, and Interstellar. Start with WALL-E and then go from there.
They all have people named Eva in the film.
What is WALL-E?
He's a robot.
Okay.
They're all robots.
They all have robotic main characters. Great.
Interstellar is a robotic main character.
There's a robotic character that's voiced by Matt Damon. I'm pretty sure it's Matt Damon, who ends up being...
the father.
No, that's Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, see, I don't know.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right.
I did see that movie.
Okay.
Though I still need to see Contact.
We're going to sit down. I'm going to strap you to a chair and you're going to watch it.
And you're going to watch Fatal Attraction.
Okay. Find the commonalities in these 3 films: The Mummies, National Treasure, and The Goonies.
Pits. Am I wrong?
There are
pits in all of them.
There are pits. What else is there that people may be hunting for?
Gold, treasure.
Yeah, treasure. Yep.
Great.
Yep.
Well done.
Great.
Beautiful
Thank
work.
you. And that's season 100 Jeopardy.
All right. So for my Jeopardy style trivia today, I was inspired by the word 100.
Okay.
And this is a 10-part Jeopardy.
Which
is all about groups of animals.
Names
of animal groups.
Yeah.
A lot of them are birds, but shock. Okay, are you ready?
I'm trying to be.
For 100.
Collective animal pronouns.
Collective animal, not pronouns,
Nouns.
but collective animal terms.
Mm-hmm.
If you had 100 bats, you might also have this, which is also a term for the giant pot used by witches.
What is a cauldron of bats?
That's right. A cauldron of bats, or also a cloud or a colony.
I love the term cauldron of bats.
For 200, if you had 100 cobras, you would have a this, a term that also might describe one's bottom lip upon seeing a cobra.
What is a quiver of cobras?
That's right. Mm-hmm. A quiver of cobras.
Mm-hmm.
For 300, if you had 100 finches, you would have this, though it sounds like they derived this group name from a WB show starring Shannon Doherty, also about witches.
What is a charm of witches?
A charm
of
finches?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, correct.
Yeah.
For 400, if you had 100 larks, you would have a this, which is also the name for the event in Christianity when Jesus Christ went into the heavens, physical body included.
What is a resurrection of larks? What is an ascension of larks?
There you go, an ascension of larks.
A resurrection of larks.
Okay, for 500, if you had 100 hyenas, you would have this, derived from the sound they often make or the sounds that witches often make.
What is a cackle of hyenas?
That's right. You're nailing it.
Yeah.
For 600, if you had 100 parrots, you would have this, a term derived from the very center of hell in Dante's Inferno.
What is, it's not Pandora. What is a panic of? No, it's, what is a pandemonium of parrots?
That's right. There you go. For 700, if you had a group of baby chickens, you would have this, a term for a small handbag with no strap.
What is a clutch of ferrets?
Definitely didn't mention ferrets.
What was the animal you said? I'm sorry.
Baby chickens.
What is a clutch of chicks?
There you go.
A clutch of chicks.
A clutch of chicks. Okay, for 800.
A clutch of chicks sounds like a film that Michael Bay would produce.
Maybe. If you had 100 eagles, you would have this, a term that means a formal assembly and is most often heard during graduation season.
What is a dais of eagles?
No, not a dais, though that's a great guess. A dais is more like
the platform.
The platform of people.
Huh.
This is not a term that's used that often.
What is the faculty of eagles?
No, not a faculty.
Oh, I don't know.
What is the convocation of eagles?
That's like an $800 word. A convocation.
Yeah.
Convocation is some like 1984 double speak happening.
Great. We got 2 more.
Okay.
For 900, if you had 100 vultures, you would have this, a term that means a place for an event to occur.
What is a venue of vultures?
That's right. Isn't that random?
That's really random. I think they just try to be alliterative as much as possible, too.
Yeah, but the next one's not alliterative.
I know, as much as possible.
Yeah, but not all the time.
As much as possible.
For $1,000, if you had 100 raccoons, you would have this, a term that sounds like they listen to this show.
What is a gaze of raccoons?
That's right.
That's funny.
Yep, a gaze of raccoons.
It's spelled with a Y, though.
Literally, though, I had a friend who has listened to the show for 5 years who was like, oh my God, I just got the title.
Face Off. Face off.
This has been Gaze at the National Parks, the podcast, and we're here to remind you to hike early and hike often, and that adventure is always out there.
Gaze at the National Parks was created and is hosted by us,
Dustin Ballard
and Michael Ryan.
To see images from this episode, follow our Instagram at Gaze at the National Parks. To contact us, email us at gazeatthenationalparks@gmail.com. And to find out more about the parks visited on this show, visit our website, gazeatthenationalparks.com. That's Gaze, Gaze.
All original artwork featured on Instagram, on our website, and in the Gaze Shop is by me, Michael Ryan.
All original music was written and performed by Dave Seaman and Mariella Klinger, with Sean Sklios on guitar. Our music producer is Skyler Fortgang. This episode was edited by me, Dustin Ballard.
We would also like to acknowledge that while recording this episode, that we were on the traditional and stolen lands of the Lenape people, also known as Middlesex County, New Jersey.